Hello, listeners. Welcome to a brand new third season of My Your Business podcast. Today is a special episode because this is our last episode for this season. My name is Mia Gomez.
My name is Carlos Mora, and we will be hosting this last episode. We want to give a special shout out to Studio G, Blackstone Launchpad, and Magaña Center for Innovation and Commerce, where we help students to grow their business and alumni to start their own. Be your own boss.
In today's episode, we have a really special guest, one of our international fellows, Rolando Magana. Welcome, Rolando.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm really excited, and it's been 3 amazing weeks at El Paso, so thank you very much for having me.
We're truly honored to have you here with us during this time. So, you guys, we're going to have him talk about his entrepreneurial journey. He is a photography business owner. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Rolando, who you are, where you study, what are your hobbies and all of that.
Sure. I am from El Salvador, beautiful Central America. And as Mia said, I'm a business photography owner, right? It was really difficult to start a business. We will talk about that a little bit later. But about my hobbies, well, first, photography as well, besides it's my job. It's something that I really enjoy. And as well, being with my dogs, I really enjoy that. And a little bit more about academics, right? I'm a bachelor in business. And as well, I studied in a small university in El Salvador. It is called SC School of Management. And well, thinking about the masters and see what's coming, right? So pretty much.
That's great. Honestly, it's amazing. I love that photography business. You need a lot of passion to start a business like that. But let me ask you, what inspired you to start your business in photography and pretty much to become an entrepreneur in this field?
Well, the biggest challenge was actually how to become a photographer, right? Back in 2010, I started my career as a photographer. And the challenge is when it comes to knowledge is that in El Salvador, we don't have specific academies for this, right? A specific knowledge centers where you can become an actual photographer, get a diploma or certificate or a course in photography. So I had to learn it by my own, right? So, and aside, I have to study my bachelor in business so it can be useful for the business too, right? But I did it, right? I successfully became a photographer, and I even got some opportunities to go to Europe to learn new techniques. Now, this opportunity of the professional fellows, so I am in the US right now learning and giving a small interchange here at the Mike Loya Center for Innovation and Commerce. And well, it's been a blast. But before I became only a photographer and a photography business owner, I was working at call centers, right? So it was something really difficult because it's a very, very, very difficult job when it comes to time management. And sometimes you can have a lot of pressure by working at a call center. But after a little bit more than 7 years at a call center, I didn't. I became just a photographer, and I do graphic design for some companies too. And I'm really happy that I still work for entrepreneurs, right? Because I am at the end an entrepreneur. I started like that, and that's what allowed me to only dedicate my life to this. Yeah.
It's truly inspiring to see that you literally took the initiative to follow your dreams. Even though the resources were not there, you created the opportunities for yourself. So with that being said, I want to know, what were the biggest challenges that you faced when you started your business, and how did you overcome them?
So I mentioned the Mike Loya Center associates at the beginning that one of the most difficult things in my country is financing, right? And that's why I had to stick a little bit more of time than I thought to the call centers to finance my cameras, my equipment, and as well the platform for the business to work very well. So once I had that, I quit to the call center industry, right? And I started with some programs that helped me growing. One of the programs was in Spanish is Crece tu empresa. It means like growing your business in English. So this program it was a 9 month training, allowed me to calibrate my prices. That was the first thing, and something that is very challenging in El Salvador. Sometimes customers they don't want to pay certain amounts, but sometimes if you show them the way, you will get the correct price, your business to be profitable, and as well to deliver the best experience to the customer.
Right. And I think that's a key, like how to learn how to market yourself and be like, hey, this is my work and this is what my value is, basically. So that's
Yeah.
really great.
Now
Thank you.
that Mia mentioned that, which is really important, that the market share that you have in the place that you are looking for clients and more business relationships, how do you differentiate yourself from the other competitors, knowing that the photography industry and the market is pretty much crowded right now?
So you know what? Working for call centers was half such a bunch of knowledge for me, and half sometimes not so good experience because of it was a very frustrating job sometimes, and it is for certain people. For certain people, they have found a very good growing path within these industries. So my respect to to that area, right, to the call center field. But for me, it helped me becoming a very good customer service person. Right, so customer service is my differentiation item maybe in my business because I treat very well the customers. I try to make them happy, to feel them included in the photo shoot. I do photography for weddings, for example, and it's very difficult. They are really nervous before the event. So we have different meetings, right? So they can be happy at the moment, so they can enjoy their moment. And sometimes it's a little bit difficult to equilibrate that, but that's my differentiation item maybe to provide the best customer service as well the best experience, and so the photos they can be your photos how you want them, right, without restrictions. That's pretty much
You don't only take pictures to make like a whole
a whole
experience.
experience. Correct. It's a whole experience for the customer.
And I think it's great that you're doing that, like getting to know your clients beforehand and making them feel kind of like chill so that they can go
Yeah.
into like the sessions like with more confidence. And I think it's great because I feel that some people don't see the importance of just being kind, so it's really great that you're also doing that. It's definitely going to position you like above of the rest of your competition.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Well, it is. So as we all know, photography is a visual art form, but you as an entrepreneur, you also have to focus on the business side of things. So I want to know, like, how do you balance the creative and the business side of your business?
Yeah, so believe me, it's been more than 10 years with this, and that's the biggest challenge in my country, to find that equilibrium to continue buying my the good stuff that I like to provide my customers the best experience, the best quality, or even international class quality in photography in a small country, right? We sometimes are considered a poor country, but I think that the only poor thing that we have sometimes is our minds, right? So we have to delete that, go ahead and have faith in our country, right? And I'm planning to stay in El Salvador, but I'm traveling to some other countries as much as I can to learn and bring back this knowledge to my country. So in this program that I told you, Crece tu Empresa, it was founded by the Citibank Foundation in El Salvador. They have presence there. They used to have the bank there, but they retired. But they still have this foundation. They helped me having that equilibrium, right? To not just raising prices and raising, for example, my own salary and etc., but as well providing the customer reasons why to pay this, and as well having some add-ons, other techniques, right, that allow me to do that. I teach sometimes as a volunteer in another association, right? So you can take that as a time-consuming thing, or you can take it as a giving back to the society. So it's an equilibrium in everything, right? So having this equilibrium in prices, having more corporate customers sometimes because they can pay you a little bit more, that allows me to still help, to still be a volunteer, and to still work as well for entrepreneurs, right? To give an entrepreneur the experience of a world class photo, right? But with an excellent price, affordable. Right?
So now in our modern days, we know that social media is a really important role for businesses to grow. So what are some techniques that you can share with our audience that you use for your own business that you utilize on your social media platforms?
Sure. So it's been a little bit of a challenge because I manage a lot of materials with this type of business, right? Photography, for example, in an event, you can take either 100 or 500 pictures, 1,000 pictures. Maybe you want to show the people the best, right? So I'm very careful first with the content that I publish, with the platform that I select to publish it, right? Because at Instagram, at TikTok, you're gonna have different type of audiences, right? So it's been first very careful to what you will post, when you will post it, as well as ask permission from the customer, right? If you can go ahead and use the material. And second is about growing the brand, right? I'm trying to grow my brand by publishing a little bit more often. Maybe if you can keep in contact with the people, if you can keep in contact with the customers, they can relate not to today's post, but tomorrow's post, and so on, right? And third, the third advice that I can give you is to have a calendar, right? It's very important to have a calendar and see maybe if you have scripts where you can post, you can have them in your calendar and ready to post, right?
Perfect. And I want to take advantage of this time so that Rolando can advertise his username. So I don't know if you have an Instagram, do you?
Yeah, I have an Instagram. You can follow me at the photographer S as in Sam, V as in Victor, like at the photographer SV, and as well that's on Instagram, on TikTok too.
Okay, so we're also going to put it here somewhere on top of the screen.
Thank you.
So make sure to follow him and don't miss out on his amazing work.
And I wanted to add something. I've seen that TikTok is a little bit concerning and a little bit delicate nowadays in the United States, but specifically in my country, right? It's very useful. I found many customers on TikTok is something like they really like that. I'm a little bit funnier on TikTok, right? And they have a little bit more of backstage and this, right? And as well respecting other places, because they told me, for example, it's restricted in some areas in the U.S., but in my country specifically is something really useful. The people find it funny, but as well is a business focused social network sometimes.
Yeah, and I think TikTok is great because it gives you like a lot of exposure.
Yes.
So it's been a blessing basically to all of the businesses.
So it's about taking advantage of the social platforms that you can, right, whenever you want.
Exactly.
So we know that as a business owner, challenges and obstacles will come no matter what. But my question for you will be, what inspired you to get out of and go like overcome these obstacles and these challenges? What's the inspiration behind overcoming something that faces as a business owner?
You know what I find really inspiring? You can have an answer like, "Hey, I'm inspired by my family to keep them growing, to help my family, to help my to help myself, to buy a house, to buy a car." But I'm in love with the customers itself, right? The customers, if you are a photographer, they treat you very well. So, for example, if I go to a quinceañera party, for example, right, you are inspired by the customer itself because you see the effort that they have made to make that party, the effort that they have made for for her sister, for her daughter, for example, to accomplish this, right? To have your quinceañera party. So I'm inspired by the customers. They are my mindset. As you say here in the US, that's one of my reasons to wake up in the morning. When I heard that, I've heard that many times here during my this month that I've been in the US. So that's my reason to wake up in the morning. My customers, they treat me very well. They appreciate what I do, and if I do it better, they will appreciate it more every time. Mhm. That's pretty much.
I love that.
Me too. It's
Honestly,
so touching.
it's very touching because a lot of people, it takes a lot to put an event together. And we're talking about an event as an example. but like a wedding so special, like the love of two people, and that you can capture that in photography, but that also inspire you. That's very like touching and very like heartwarming, if that makes sense.
And imagine when you work for an entrepreneur, right? As we recently at the Magloya, we had a contest, right? A photography contest. So yesterday we took the first photo shoot to Karim. He's an entrepreneur with a clothing brand. So he was really, really thankful for the photo shoot. It was a 15 to 30-minute photo shoot, quick photo shoot. He brought just one t-shirt, but I provided him advices because maybe I'll not take another photo shoot very soon for him, but I provided him advices. I have some other business tips, right? Photography strategies, so he can take his photos later with his phone and edit them a little bit. So when you work with entrepreneurs as well, you see the effort. They have become successful at that point, maybe, and they will become a lot more.
Right. And I love saying that taking photography is like a freezing a moment in time. So that's like more on the personal side. And now like in the more kind of like the entrepreneurship side, you're trying to project what the business is. So that takes like a very special skill, which you mastered perfectly. So it's really great to see and to learn from you. With that being said, with all of the advice that you've gathered throughout your years in this business, what would you advise for aspiring photographers? What would be your advice to them?
Well, you know what? In my country, we don't have like an association of photographers and so on. But I would like to tell the photographers specifically to be kind and to be humble, right? As well to share your knowledge to others, because I don't see much photographers sharing knowledge in my country. But I've seen here in the US that they are more integrated, like a little bit more sharing and networking. So we miss that in our country. I would like to start that to be a little bit more collaborative with others, right? That would be maybe my advice. And to generally in entrepreneurship, to have faith in yourself, right? Just to believe that you can become, right? And it takes time. That's the thing. So maybe besides believing in yourself, to be patient.
Perfect. That's great advice. So you guys heard him firsthand. Rolando, we really want to thank you for accepting our invitation for this episode. We're truly honored to have you here in this episode.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
C2G, the Magaña Center for Innovation and Commerce, and the Blackstone Launchpad wants to thank you, our listeners, for your constant support.
Stay tuned for upcoming episodes, but never forget to always
mind your business.